Good afternoon to you all. So, welcome back to Crypto Moonlix. And as of today, I want to give the Bitcoin's price action before the New York sessions opens up. Only with the Bitcoin and Ethereum price action before the New York sessions open up. So, let's begin. And I think I'm going to check Bitcoin on a lower time frame, especially on a lower time frame, and we should begin. So first of all, we had a bit of the pump. Where did that pump come from? The pump is from the FOMC meeting that happened yesterday. BTC pumped from 20K back to 22,435. Let me delete that. From 20,000 to 20,000, 22,645, it opened that green candle over here. First of all, 22,600, and then a drop of maybe 20,539. But I'll start getting bearish if Bitcoin is able to lose the momentum of 21. Let's say, no, over here, yeah, on the open week. I'll talk of 20,871. This is within the 4-hour time frame. So, first of all, we are seeing a W formation occurring within this up, maybe up, or maybe come back down. No one is sure of it, but I'm expecting a drop within today in the markets. Why I'm expecting a drop today within the markets? We've just had a bit of some fire today morning, and Swiss National Bank raises rates by 50 basis points. This hasn't happened since 2007, and that's when we had the dollar crash and recession happening in the US. So as you can read this article, the SNB has just joined the hawkish camp by raising its rate by 50 basis points to negative 0.25%. That's 0.25 basis points. So this indicates that's 25 basis points. So this indicates a willingness to take the lead and keep the initiative given the expected rate hikes by the ECB over the year. The SNB should nevertheless be less aggressive than the ECB. Also remember, we are also having today the EOB England, BOE, not EOB, BOE Bank of England are also going to impose rates worth 25 basis points. That is within the UK. So first of all, we've had the US imposing um, 75 basis points. They've gone aggressively within the market where they'll also have to reduce their balance sheet. We are also on the Swiss bank. They've also imposed a 25 basis point, and now Bank of England also going to impose 25 basis point economically. So, while the consensus was that SNB will keep its key rate unchanged in June, the central bank surprised everyone. As you can see, it surprised everyone today morning by raising its rates by 50 basis points. The key interest has thus been raised from negative 0.75 to negative 0.25%. According to press release, this rate hike is aimed at countering inflationary pressures as inflation in Switzerland reaches 2.9% in May, its highest level since the summer of 2008, which is higher than the SNB's objective of having inflation between 0 and 2%. After years of fighting deflation, inflation is now too high and the SNB has decided to act quickly. This rapid change in monetary policy is also explained by the situation in the foreign exchange market. While the Swiss franc was considered by the SNB to be valued over years, which pushed inflation down, the SNB now believes the fiat is no longer highly valued by deciding to raise rates before the European Central Bank. That's what has happened within today. Now you can check the September meeting will be more open. So in our view, today's decision indicates a willingness by the SNB to take the lead, while the ECB announced last week that it will raise rates by 25 basis points in July, by 25 or 50 basis points in September. The SNB did not want to wait until its meeting on 22nd September. Why? What has happened within shorter time frame? First of all, we saw the European Central Bank, ECB, the European Central Bank met yesterday talking about how they're going to withdraw their bonds. Number two, we had the Fed rates, the US Fed rates at a 75 basis point. Now we are seeing also the Bank of England imposing a 25 basis point, and they went fast compared to how they were supposed to do it. That was scheduled on 22nd December. They've decided to come in aggressively now. What does that tell you? Recession seems to be looming on a 50 to 50%. Uh, which other data is this? Inflation hasn't peaked yet as it should, so they've decided to go aggressively on the markets. And what did that do today morning within Bitcoin? It made Bitcoin price down from $22,500 level to now a closure of $21,141. If we can check the futures market, we can see today we've seen a drop of negative 2.27 on the SP 500 future market, and the European market is quite bearish just as of today. Just as of today, not any other time, but just as of today. So, what should happen to the price? We saw the price of it opening up at the level of $3,833.25 in price. It's now dropped to 3,695, almost at its bottom, in which at the current price is at 3,708. And what's happening to the dollar index? The dollar index is rising aggressively. The US dollar index is rising aggressively today with a level of 0.25%. Oil is back at 2.01%. I don't know if it's open, but I don't think it's opened. Let's look at gold. Gold is dropping down up to on a level of negative 0.65% in correlation with silver, negative 0.89%. So it seems like things will still be having a bit of some downturn within the short term. I don't know if this is the bottom, but the bottom might come in as sooner than we have thought. So these are the levels that I'm looking at it within the 4-hour time frame. If we are able to break the $20,900 level, I'll be quite bearish, and I'm looking for a test. And by a test, I'm going to open this chart within the 1-day time frame. I'm going to look at a test of up to $19,000 in Bitcoin. Okay, $19,000 in Bitcoin to $18,000. Might we have a pump from that? It seems like the market hasn't priced all these, it hasn't priced the idea of the funding rate where 19, and there it is before the previous all-time high. So I'll be looking at these levels. Okay, I'll be looking at this level within the crypto market. You can see we had one large week, but the selling orders was able to engulf the previous green candle. So I'm looking at a drop from 22,600 back to 21,055. And then I'll be looking at, so it's already priced into $21,000. So I'm looking at a target of 18,814 to 19K at the minimum bottom. If I'm looking at Ethereum, we are far away from even testing our 50 EMA. Same thing to Ethereum. Pumped back up onto there. There. Will it test the 1022? Probably. Probably. It might test that 1022. Just might. And then I'll be looking at the lower level of before the previous week. And I'll be talking about the previous week up next. And the previous level at $924. So I'll be looking at the lowest point if I'm shorting the market currently up to a level of $924 on Ethereum. Just within today or tomorrow, I'll book my profits. If I'm going short, I'll book my profits at $924. So that's just the estimation of the price. But let's look at Bitcoin as a major consensus within the market. If I'm checking within Bitcoin, let's look at it on the daily time frame. Look where we had large wicks happening over here, and we were talking of real parabolic runs on the market. Okay, we had large green vector candle that was happening over here from the level of $18,000 to the level of $24,000, came back down, pumped up again. So when did the idea of this candle open up on one large vector candle, ladies and gentlemen? We had that pump originating from the price of $18,806. Might that be the drop of Bitcoin to the level of 18,806 to 806 to see where that wick simply came from? On the lowest, on the larger time frame on a weekly, I will base my trade of up to $17,850. Should that be the lowest price of Bitcoin at a level of 17,850? So myself, I'm not saying like I would or I should, but if I'm an investor myself, I've already started doing dollar cost averaging. By dollar cost averaging means I'm buying Bitcoin at this price, keeping it on my wallet. Cold wallet. That's number one. Number two, on what I would also do, you can use any cold wallet that you're interested with. It doesn't feel safe to say the kind of wallet you're using, but just use any wallet that you feel you're comfortable with. Then number two, I'm looking of a short price of Bitcoin just within today or tomorrow. If we're going to have that bit of a decline back to $19,170, that's the price I'm looking at with Bitcoin. Now, if we're able to check our BBWP, will it appear? There it is. If we can check on our BBWP over here, first of all, look whatever happens within time frames. I need you to be careful. Okay. I need you to be careful at this point. Look at it in this time frame. Okay. Look at it in this time frame. We had a large dump during COVID time, right? As you can see, this was the COVID time during March COVID 2020. Then second of all, we've had another drop probably from 58,425 to even 45K. That was a big drop. And our BBWP told us that was a hawkish movement on BTC. Next up, we had another small bearish movement. That was from 64,480 to 48K. And then we had another drop over here to June. You remember Bitcoin fell from the highs of $68,000 back to the $30,000. And that's why we are talking of the idea of Wyckoff schematic distribution. Okay. Then from there, the next time our BBWP is telling us like, wow, you know, Bitcoin fell to $26,000. And what happened when Bitcoin fell to $26,000, ladies and gentlemen? It fell to $26,500, moved sideways, pounced back up to 32,691, again fell down. This has happened consecutively on the same idea that we've also seen here. 1, 2, 3 lows. Again, bit of something in the market, then pumped back up. It's the same thing you're seeing over here. 1, 2. Okay, there are 2. If you can check this chart clearly, there are 2 within here. And now we are seeing the third one, but it's not that big compared to how it was. So it's at its lowest aggressive point on our BBWP. So what happens if it's the lowest point on the BBWP? Might we have a correction on the upside? I needed to be careful and check this out. Look at our stochastic RSI. The greed and fear index is at, I think, 7. The stochastic RSI is at 14. The RSI is at 14. Stochastic RSI is at 2.95. And then our BBWP is at its lowest. So is it a nice time for me probably to wait for a bit of the drop to 20K, 19K, get some BTC or any other altcoin, start doing some dollar cost averaging? Yes, it can be a good point just to do DCA, meaning a dollar cost averaging on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Then next up, what are we seeing within today? So that is on the macro concept, that meaning on a long-term view of the macro concept. You're in the idea that you've simply traded altcoins and yesterday you got into altcoins and you're bleeding now. If you're not leveraging, then why are you stressed about it? Because definitely will come back to its price. We are at its lowest price as of now. If expecting another 30% to 50% dump, and I'm hearing people are talking of the narrative of 12K, $10,000 as of now, I don't think that will happen any moment as of now. People are too bearish, and the market maker needs to liquidate the shorts as of now. Then, what happens within the shorter time frame before the New York sessions opens up? So before the New York sessions open up, Before the New York sessions open up, we are looking at different time frames. We've seen that drop within the European market, and also the Asian market never opened bearish that much. So since the drop of the if the drop of the New York session happens, I'll expect BTC probably to drop to a level of $20,000 to even $19,500. But we need to look where liquidity is being grabbed at. Welcome to the liquidity game. Where is liquidity being grabbed at? Liquidity is being grabbed at a level of 21,000. Wait, let me see if I'm correct on that kindly. Let me confirm with that. Yes. So we are seeing the liquidation levels over here. First of all, you're seeing large buy orders of BTC at 21,500 and another one at 21,700, but there are high buy limit orders at the level of $21,000, and that is around 409 BTC. Okay, there's much liquidity to grab over here, but remember there's also another liquidity that you left over here at 20,500. That is worth 593.7 BTC. Where is that? 20,500. So this is where we simply had our opening of yesterday after the FOMC meeting. Okay, so these are the ranges that we're currently looking at with aspect to liquidity. There are too many shorts, but doesn't mean that they have to liquidate the shorts. So we have had a drop from 22,656, 21,591, and now we might have a drop to the level of 19,000 to 20,500. Will we see that liquidity being grabbed at between around 3 hours to 4 hours of now? Yes, that liquidity might be grabbed. So if BTC already drops to the level of 20,300 or to the level of $19,000, you should start paying yourself, close your position. Remember, today is on Thursday, we'll have more volatility within the market. But on Saturday, not on Saturday, on Friday, we have less liquidities that are happening in the markets. So why are you getting onto a trade on Friday? You're getting onto a trade on Friday if you're the psychological lows and high that you want an amount that you'll want to obtain from the market on Friday and the Monday session opens. Already the Swiss Bank have already given their verdict. We are now waiting for the Bank of England, BOB, to give their verdict if it's either they're going with a 50 basis point or a 25 basis point. Now, I'm heading over to Ethereum. Same case scenario happening to Ethereum, and I'm going to open it on a 30-minute chart time frame. We've already tested the highs of the 50 EMA, 100 EMA. We're almost testing the 200 EMA, but we came back down drastically. So with the Ethereum, I'm looking to test on levels of okay. I'm going to pin that down there, bring it down, down and down and down, and I'm looking at the level of 1079. If it's able to drop to a level of 1079, it's either break or make. Either you pump or you dump. I don't care what you'll do with Ethereum, but I'm looking at the level of 1079 on Ethereum on a matter of bearish scenarios. If it breaks 1079, then we'll have to fill the gap of this zone. We'll have to fill the gap of this zone that we've been talking of. And by this zone, I mean from here up to here. This is a nice zone for us to fill from $1,014 to even $950 to $1,079 on Ethereum. With BTC, this is within 30-minute time frame. I'm going to delete that, remove that. So with the BTC, I'm looking at levels of no, not that. Apologies for that. With BTC, I'm looking at levels of probably if it's not able to hold 20,859, I'm looking for it to fill the gap. I'm looking for it to fill the gap between 20,259 or lower to the gap of 20,855. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking at BTC and Ethereum. But you're having the idea that this might be the bottom of the market. Yes, I won't deny that this might be the bottom of the market, but there seems to might have been a bull trap yesterday with altcoins and Bitcoin pumping. Same thing to the stocks pumping, but today we are having a bit of some drop. Will this week end by people absorbing the news that we are on the idea that the 75 basis point is on the market and we need to move on? Which other news are we waiting for? There isn't any other news that we're waiting for. And this is the best case scenario where you might start seeing some altcoins pumping over the weekend, leaving your bags heavy. Just might, not will, just might. Okay. So first of all, I need to talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum. The rest of the altcoins, I'm going to talk about ADA only a bit before I leave, but be cautious on the zones that I've already talked about. With ADA, we've had that nice little pump off from yesterday. I'm looking at the zone of, and I'm trickling it down a bit. I'm looking at the zone of 0.4795. If it's able to break the 0.4795, then I'm looking at its lowest zone of up to 0.45 within ADA. That's a drop of 10% from the current price that ADA is in. I'm looking at the level of 0.4501 on ADA. So if I'm shorting from 0.4501, then I'm looking for it to simply form, to simply have a fill on this bottom from 0.45 to 0.47. If it's able to break 0.55 and the rest of the zones that I've been talking of, then we are getting much lower on the crypto assets. So those are the zones that I've looked at. That's my own analysis about what might happen around 4:30 p.m. 4:30 p.m. I'm expecting just a bit of some dump, not a massive dump, but I don't know. Is it a massive, not massive? But I'm expecting a bit some volatility within 1 hour from now. That's around 3:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. There'll be a bit of some up and downs, and the market will take its course after 2 hours, and then we might have that immense drop in the market until the case of midnight or the closure of the New York, and tomorrow it will be the story of another day. So those are the kind of zones I'm looking at. I'm hoping you'll be careful as you're trading. Remember, do not over leverage your trade. Do not over leverage. Use lower leverage on what you can afford to lose. When you start getting profits, remember to pay yourself. And remember also on the altcoins that I told you to be careful on trading on. You can check them on the previous videos that I've talked about. I talked on some altcoins that you need to be very careful in trading them. And I will be back probably tomorrow. If it plays out as it played out, I'm not doing any session today, but I'll do another session on the opening up tomorrow or the next week or on Saturday or on Friday, just if anything changes dynamically. But as of now, yesterday it played out as it should. You already had a pump, book your profits. I've already given another prediction, another analysis of what might happen before the New York session. Those are my predictions. Those are my targets. If I'm shorting or longing, those are my targets. I'm waiting to see what happens at the 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. And then I might do a session tonight if things are okay or not okay. I'll do a bit of some session. We see where we went through with the market open. So take care. Cheers. If you like the content, like and subscribe. We'll meet each other some other time. So cheers. Bye bye.